Hello everybody, my name's Phillip Blond. I'm Director of the Progressive Conservatism Project here at Demos in London. I'm delighted to be speaking to you today, albeit in a virtual capacity. What I'd like to do is try and explain what the Progressive Conservatism Project is, and then talk about the three areas I think that our interests and your interest meld and create genuinely new alternatives. First of all, the Progressive Conservatism Project is founded to create a genuine alternative to the type of politics that we've had for the last 30 years. We no longer want to position ourselves on a spectrum with Michael Foot on the left and Margaret Thatcher on the right and somehow seek a putative middle ground. We want an entirely different type of politics, and we want to create something that delivers real power, wealth, property and purpose to communities that have had it stripped from them by governments and politics of all colours and guises. And essentially our project is one of civic renewal, and that's the sense that we think this is a progressive project and also a conservative project, because we want to conserve people in their locations, their traditions, their cultures, their ways of being, but also augment all of that, integrate it together with each other, give them new ways of developing their associative behaviours, new formats, new modes essentially by which they can actually change their lives. Let me give you two examples of the sort of work that we're doing that we hope is in some sense indicative and illustrative of the sort of work we're doing. The first is recapitalising the poor. As I'm sure you know, one of the most remarkable things that's happened in the last 30 years is the almost complete erosion of the asset wealth of the bottom half of the population. In 1976, excluding property, the bottom half of the population owned 12% of all wealth. In 2003, that had fallen to just 1%. And it's the lack of assets that has proved so debilitating to the poor. And what we want to do is investigate the various ways we can create an asset effect for the bottom half of our society. There's all sorts of different ways. We're looking at capitalising welfare streams. We're looking at community land trusts. We're looking at time banking. We're looking at what will happen to the assets of the banks when they return to the public sector. So there's many different streams that are flowing into that, but crucially, of course, is the huge impact that organisations like yourselves, through community finance initiatives, have on these communities and the role you can play. Part of what I've argued elsewhere is there's need for a new local banking system. There's need for ways in which local finance can be augmented, grouped together, shaped differently to really massively scale up and increase your impact and your transformative ability in the communities that we wish to serve. So I'm very interested in working with your organisations and through people like Bernie, and would welcome any ideas or thoughts that you have. Second, and I think allied to our project of reversing the decapitalisation of the poor, is the project of relocalising the economy. One of the marks of our economy over the last 30 years has been its massive centralisation and monopolisation in London. Both political power and financial power have accrued to very, very few people and very, very few organisations. We're interested in coupling massive political decentralisation and re-empowerment of localities and individuals with economic decentralisation. We're interested in creating an entirely new framework for local finance. It involves anything from local venture capital, local stock markets, local bonds, both social, financial and investment, and creating a genuine conditions where local communities actually have the financial power to shape and create and decide in some important manner what type of community or economy they will participate in and share. So again, these are areas that I think are vitally important for creating a 21st century future. And I think, and this takes me to my final point, that if we actually look at the needs of the 21st century economy, they're actually very strikingly similar to the needs we had at the beginning of our industrial revolution, and the answers are somewhat similar. In the Industrial Revolution, Britain succeeded because there was a massive dispersal of capital across the locality in range and size, and that capital was then teamed up with entrepreneurs, and the methods of innovation and education were dispersed then through learned journals and encyclopedias. What Britain needs is something similar. We need a third or indeed a fourth industrial revolution so that we can revitalise our economies. And I think your role and the role of organisations like yours is absolutely decisive in delivering capital, innovation, assets and power to the whole of our country. So I very much look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.